Hey guys, my name is Ryan, and welcome to Overwatch Central. So on the PTR sits a few hero changes that a lot of people have had pretty interesting reactions to. A good chunk of the player base can't really decide where the new Hook leaves Roadhog. Bastion is severely scaring a lot of people to the point that I'm surprised that they haven't barricaded their doors. And Mercy is just, well, Mercy. We plan to do a video going over what happened to Mercy again because she just seems to be a hero that hasn't really gone anywhere in the last few months. But I'll actually got some changes on the PTR and we've seen some pretty interesting reactions and got our own opinions to her viability at this point in time. But we thought we'd do one better than that. We grabbed hold of Mercy only top 500 player EeveeA, who sat down with myself to talk about what he thought about the changes with all of his hours and expertise within this hero. It's worth adding that the footage in the background is of course EeveeA playing, so you get a good grip of how he's actually sort of utilising this hero, but we also spoke about Mercy as a viable pick and what she needs to do to contest with the top support in town, Ana. We haven't really done a video like this in the past. It's more of a sort of a discussion with somebody that knows a hell of a lot about this specific hero, so let us know in the comments whether you like it, and also like this video if you want to see more videos like this. But anyway, let's get started. So, me and you, EeveeA, have been in contact for quite some time. We've been sort of planning out a Master Mercy for a few weeks now. We kind of knew that these changes were on the horizon to some extent, but now they're here. I don't want to sort of go about it as a knee-jerk reaction. I don't want to sit here and go, Mercy's never going to be played, these changes are awful, or Mercy's going to be great, you should definitely play her like she's the, you know, golden girl in the meta now. Sort of the main question that I kind of want to ask with is, are we looking at these changes the wrong way? Are we sort of looking at a fix here for Mercy as opposed to just something that's going her way for once? Like, do you expect that this is just the first of many changes?
Yeah, I think for sure this is the first of a few changes. I think this is seeing how this will affect her gameplay and then moving from there to see what she needs. Because this is something that she's needed for a very long time, and I feel like it will help the people already playing her, so then they can start paving the way for the real changes to come.
And you only play Mercy, 2 top 500 accounts, your highest as well. Like, she just seems that she's the bottom of the barrel with supports now, which is crazy considering how, like, prominent she was in the closed beta. She was the main healer, but now even Symmetra's getting picked over her. Obviously you can run Mercy because you've done that, you've only done that, but if you were to play other heroes, would you? Like Ana, Lucio, they both seem like such solid options. Why would you want to pick Mercy over that still?
I think there's a lot of factors where if somebody were legitimately trying to pick what healer they want to pick, it really comes down to what value does it bring. And right now, the reason why Mercy has kind of been killed out of the meta is Ana. Mercy is a single target healer, and when the tank meta started surfacing, Ana was just the obvious choice. With the amount of healing she can pump out, even now after the nerfs, Ana was just the obvious single healer target, and with Res being outplayed by the other tank abilities, such as, or rather Hook, you know, any of the tank ultimates, Res was just getting countered, so there was really no point. And then anytime Res would come up, anti-heal was right there to answer. So Ana's just the better choice as a whole for support.
Do these changes change that at all, or what does Mercy need then? If these changes don't make her a much more stronger pick, how can Mercy get that edge over Ana, or Symmetra, or any other support basically?
Right now I feel like an important change has the option to be little bit more healing, or really the more prevalent option that I think a lot of people would prefer is nerfing Ana more. But I don't feel her kit needs to be nerfed as much as her actual healing. Her core healing, even without her grenade, is still more than Mercy. People argue it's the accuracy factor, but honestly, if it's on a tank, accuracy isn't as much as a factor.
So you have been a player that has put on the forums and stuff examples and ideas of how to improve Mercy to an extent. Like, an E ability is a very common thing that's talked about that she could use with another ability that does something. Cleanse has been an example. We've seen Symmetra is a good example to sort of compare it to. What kind of thing is Mercy missing here? Because I feel that Ana offers the same sort of thing, but Ana can look after herself a little bit. She has a CC ability, she has something that can heal herself quickly if needs be. If Mercy needs an E ability, what would it be?
Honestly, when it comes down to all the options, I've heard hundreds of different ideas, but honestly the one I always come back to is Cleanse. Now, Cleanse is the obvious choice to me personally because there's no counter to Ana anti-heal in the game besides Zarya. Literally, Zarya is the only thing in the entire game that can cleanse off anti-heal from a target. Now, I feel that lore-wise and mechanically, it would make sense that Mercy's E ability being Cleanse would be an obvious choice. However, a lot of people also think that she needs to be more independent, gaining an ability such as Angelic Anchor, that some people keep recommending, being placing markers that would be like Souls of Fallen teammates, but would be anchors she can lay throughout the match as sort of a setup like Symmetra has in her gameplay. But there's a key reason why I and many others disagree with this. That reason being Mercy's core mechanics. Everything relies on her team. That's Mercy's thing. She is effectively 100% useless without her team. You can say, oh yeah, she can pull out her pistol, but really, what are you doing? You're not helping your team. With Ana, her kit can CC, whether it be sleep or anti-heal, but it can also heal more. Mercy just has healing and damage boost, which both go and help your team. So if you're not with your team, you're really useless as Mercy. So helping that style, I feel Cleanse makes more sense, allowing you to help your team even better than you were before, and adding an answer to the ever-growing issue that is, how do you counter Ana?
So, to sort of talk about the changes a little bit more, we've kind of got over them to an extent, and I think everybody sort of agreed, yeah, these are really nice, quality of life changes, nothing too major. Like, how do you sort of get the most out of this then? Is this something that you could legitimately start to use Mercy more? Is this enough, basically?
If you were on the edge of using Mercy before, I think this will help. But if you've never played Mercy before, this isn't the time. This is not the time to pick up Mercy, pretty much. This is just to help the people who have already been trying to make Mercy work, but haven't been successful. Now, her settings, that a lot of people don't know about, help that, allowing you to be more flexible in your options, but this is just to help people who are already using Mercy and having troubles getting off decent reses.
How should a team sort of help you out, I suppose? Because there's been a lot of cases where having a Mercy on your team just doesn't work with the lineup that you have. Like, what other support should you have? Should you have a Lucio alongside a Mercy? Should you have an Ana, a Zen? What tanks work well with it? This isn't a Master Mercy guide by any stretch, but when and what and who should you be using Mercy with?
It depends on your team composition and more along the lines of what you intend to do as a team. If you intend to dive on them, Lucio is awesome, but if you intend to have a choke battle, Ana is great for more sustain, because an Ana and a Mercy can pump out healing like nothing else in the game. But if you're trying to be active and dive on them, I'd argue Lucio and Mercy is probably the best thing out there, because you can target, say, hey, your Winston's diving in them, you can just pocket your Winston, get your ult charged very quickly, and dish out the damage, because I think you do like 86 damage per second to 3 targets when damage boosted. That's insane when comboed with speed, but I think it really depends on the mindset of your team, on what will work best.
So it's trying to sort of break that cookie cutter Lucio-Ana duo, I suppose, by sort of sneaking in the middle and going, I can work with both sides of this coin. Something that we spoke about before this video as well, just before we started recording, was this change helps out Mercy in probably the most important part of a match, where she is clutch as well, right at the end of it with those reses. So could you sort of elaborate on that again?
I think that the reason why this change can be impactful is, think about all those times where the enemy team doesn't really think about countering Mercy, and then right in the time where it's like 30 seconds left, we gotta kill that Mercy to make sure she doesn't have res. That's where this change will be more effective. When that Mercy goes out, flies out for that res, she'll have more chance to stay alive after that res to help her team in that last fight. Because oftentimes, currently, she'll die in that last fight, and then like you could get reverse team wiped even if you 5-man resed. But if you were alive in that fight, it's very likely you will survive and win that match. So I think this is a healthy change for the people who are trying to make her work, especially in those clutch moments. The thing here is, if you don't understand the change, it's really simple. It's literally just Reaper's Wraith form while Mercy's rezzing for 2.25 seconds. That means if someone tries to pin the Mercy, it'll go straight through her and she can walk her along. She can walk out of a Graviton Surge. She can't be hooked. She can't be anti-healed. Nothing can touch her. So this is a pretty important change if you know how to use it.
Because it used to be before that if you wanted to res a full team and you were flying into the area where they'd all died, you were essentially sacrificing yourself, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, think of all these Mercy play of the games. You always see, oh man, huge res, and there she goes, she's dead.
Another thing, when these changes went through, you had a bit of a play. One thing that you really felt strongly about was how good the change was to the fact that you could heal Mei through her ice block.
Yeah, I think this is definitely the change that has flown under the radar for most people covering the Mercy changes. It's that now when Mei ice blocks, you can not only fly to her, but heal through her ice block. This has been such a change that I feel makes Mei legitimately more viable if there's a Mercy at play. This makes it much easier to help a Mei in the middle of, say, a stall, where otherwise it would be suicide for her to come out of her ice block. Now that Mercy can help that Mei get topped up before she gets out of her ice block to resume being useful, rather than panicking and trying to get out of the fight. So I feel the Mei change is one of the best, and I think that this will be very interesting to see other Mercy players' opinions on this.
I suppose the sensitivity options help with that as well.
For sure, they help, but they aren't as impactful as some was hoping. So if you were just like occasionally accidentally targeting the wrong people, lowering it 10 to 15 will help an immense amount in fights.
So to just sort of conclude real quick then, we've seen these changes. What does it mean for Mercy now? And should players be looking to play Mercy for Season 4? Should they be practicing now and preparing for the new season with her? Or is it just something that probably should stick to Ana, Lucio, whatever?
I think players in competitive should stick to their normal comps. Stick to what you're comfortable with and you will perform much better than something you're trying to experiment with. But I will say, if you're interested in Mercy, go check out her hero-specific settings. I personally use all non-default. If you want to try her out in quick play, I highly encourage trying her out. But in competitive sense, I think she's still on the sidelines.
So, in short, much better than what she was. Still not enough to really sort of contest Ana and Lucio. But lastly, do you expect more changes on the horizon?
Absolutely. I think there are some changes coming to Mercy, but for now, for like the next 1 or 2 balance updates, we won't see anything, but keep an eye out.
So that concludes our section with Eevee, but I figured I'd drop my own opinions on Angela right after. So I see a lot of people saying that Mercy's almost like a troll pick, you throw in the game if you're playing her, stuff like that, and I just don't see it. She's definitely not a troll pick. She is finding use to the pro scene, that's worth highlighting, but you've got to see what the other pros are playing with that. Ana and Lucio are the top pairing for supports because you can pretty much play anything alongside it. But much like Symmetra, Mercy is a niche pick that is incredibly strong in certain situations, but you do have to play around it a little bit more. You can't just play Symmetra on attack, for example. You've got to be a little bit more smarter than that and know the situations where a Mercy would actually complement your team. Much like when we went over the Winston guide with Numlocks, we heard that there are a lot of situations that Winston is really good at, but it's all about identifying those situations where he's a strong pick, and Mercy is no different. If you try and shoehorn Mercy into a typical composition like triple tanks, it isn't really going to work out as well. But Mercy does enable different options and compositions that can really catch the enemy team by surprise, and they may not have any answer to it. It complements a Pharah. Mercy even works well in dive comps and maps like Numbani as well. We saw Cloud9 run it on OGN a few days ago, and they absolutely blitzed the first point with a dive comp with a Pharah Mercy combo. But if you're playing with a Mercy on your team, try to make use out of it instead of going against it. Make picks that complement the choice instead of trying to do what you were setting out to do and expecting it to just work out with a pick that doesn't really work. But in short, Mercy works, but you need to play to the amazing strengths that this hero has. But that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. Again, do let us know what you think of this style and format of video. It's a little bit different than we've done in the past. But do let us know what you think of Mercy, whether you think she's a lot stronger than we initially let off, or whether she's just trashed here. Don't play her. Just don't bother. Let us know in the comments what you think. And until next time, take care. We'll see you then.